Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Ethan Klein of everyone's favorite Under Quarantine podcast, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have the co-star of the Harry Potter films. We have Rupert Grint, also known as Ron Weasley, or as you may know him as Ryan Hipp of That Show on YouTube. How you doing, man?
You've uncovered my secret. I don't know what to say. This is really creepy, sir. I'm doing all right, thank you. You're the first person to ask me to do something like this, so I'm flattered. Appreciate that. This is going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, this was once again hooked up by our homeboy Ryan Walterson. He was responsible for hooking up a lot of the podcasts we've done in the past, like the one with Cinephile Studios and Rebel Taxi and all those. And I've seen your videos, and I think they're really cool, man. So I mean, I'm honored to have you on as a guest because I think you make good shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so let's get to the questions. First question up is, what was life like for you before YouTube and making videos in general?
Pretty just plain. I think I'd started first stuff I put out was 2011, so I was still in high school at the time. So it was just going to school, and that's really it. I mean, I knew some people. Not some people. Like I knew Tony before doing any of this stuff, and like was part of like the Weird Al fandom online. So I'd communicate with people online that way, like forums and just messaging and that sort of thing. And that's the most I did online before doing the videos. But yes, not really anything that special. Sorry.
No, it's fine. After that, where exactly would you say your sense of humor and your style of humor came from, and what inspired like the kind of comedy that you put out in your videos?
Well, I mentioned Weird Al. I've always been a big fan of his, and so that to some degree, there's um, there's him. My favorite TV show is probably Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Just nonsense humor and just really dry, sarcastic, that sort of thing. And I think shortly before I started doing videos, I got into Red Letter Media. They also do kind of the nonsense and like just really dry, like anti-humor. It's I guess what some people call it.
That explains why the one of the cameos that you've done for a video has you reference their it was the I think Jesus is a sexy little black girl thing. That was like one of their bits.
And my Jesus looks like a sexy little black girl.
Baby Jesus, a black girl!
Yeah, now the thing about that is I was at a Value Village and I had seen that episode of Half in the Bag and at thrift stores they'll have like the section where it's just either pre-framed artwork and it'll be like landscapes and typically like the kind of stuff like people hang in their living rooms or at doctors' offices and that sort of thing. But then there was Black Baby Jesus, and it was a couple bucks, and I'm like, well, I guess I have to. I did that as the all being, didn't I? That was the Star Tours video. I think that I did that bit. I think part of it was just to say some nonsense, and then I guess I wanted to work in a little nod to them and make use of that picture. So yeah.
How did you get into Mr. Coat and Friends, and how exactly did you end up becoming a member of that community?
I think because I was friends with Tony and we had done a couple of things for each other's videos, and I don't know if I reached out to Stefan or if he reached out to me, but I think it's because of Tony and I kind of collaborating on stuff that happened.
Where did you get the idea for that show, and what would you say was like the big inspiration for you to make your own videos?
Well, I think the inspiration for doing videos is for like a lot of us. I think I had seen the James Rolfe Angry Nerd stuff, I think like 2007, and then a few years later. The way Tony and I had known each other, we had both like posted anonymously on like Weird Al threads and forums, and his whole thing was he has this huge collection of Weird Al TV appearances and concerts and rare stuff. And so he had a YouTube channel, which it's still out there if anyone wants to check it out, called Evil Uncle Frank, which is a reference to the Weird Al show. He has a whole, I think, to avoid YouTube bots. He started a whole bunch of channels, and each channel name's a reference to the Weird Al show. So his main channel wouldn't get lost, but I was subscribed to that, and then I think one day I was looking at the page and he had like Nostalgia Critic on there, and that was really early on. And so I had seen a couple of those, and so just find it, I guess, kind of serendipitous how the paths crossed a few different times, like between me and him to get to that point, like between him being how I discovered Nostalgia Critic, which was also a big thing. Like seeing James Rolfe and Doug Walker making these videos just kind of on camcorders and in like basements and whatnot, and very, very low tech, but they were getting audiences. And I think I had always, since I was younger, wanted to make stuff, whether it be movies or TV or something. When you're a kid, you say, "Well, when I grow up, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that." I think everything was tied into the entertainment industry to some degree. Like at one point, I wanted to be a game show host, so already be kind of on my mind, and then seeing that sort of thing.
People who are like, personalities on the internet and making like names and like sort of fictionalized characters that they would play on screen kind of thing.
Yeah, partially that, but also like I said, the big thing is the kind of the DIY style to it. Like they were getting a lot of attention, and honestly, to a degree, it was also what drew me to it is they were talking about things I was interested in sometimes, and so like, oh, people are just kind of in their houses recording these things, very low tech, and they're just talking about stuff they like, and so I guess I got the idea, well, maybe I'll do that sometime. And in high school, I was um, part of the curriculum I was in was TV production, so I had access to equipment and that sort of thing. I think I had some false starts in trying to do that sort of thing. A couple of projects where I tried to do something that could potentially start a web series, and either I didn't finish them or I just didn't like what I had done enough to pursue it any further. But I kept thinking about what I wanted to do, and it was, I think, around the time Tony had started his stuff, that was kind of like the kick in the pants I needed to be like, okay, I this guy I know is doing it. I might as well just kind of go fuck it, just give it a shot. And the earlier videos I had done, I actually don't have online anymore because the earlier on I had actually tried to kind of review things, and after a while I wasn't pleased with the format, or I was at the point, okay, there where I was like, there are enough people doing that, and so I'm just going to do just a bunch of crap. I hope that answers the question to some degree.
No, that makes sense. Would you say that these videos, these old ones, were more like serious in terms of opinions, and like you were just like, oh man, like I don't want to take myself too seriously. Like everyone just wants to be like a guy with their opinion on the internet. I'd rather be just like goofy and funny and it's just lol xd random kind of thing.
I mean, I was kind of doing a little bit of both. I was trying to give my honest opinions, but then kind of putting the kind of the shit posty kind of nonsense, weave it into it. And then I think after seeing a few of them, again, I wasn't pleased with my delivery because I was doing the thing that most people were doing at the time, back when people were trying to emulate the James Rolfe, Doug Walker style, where it's just you're in your room and you're just sitting there and you're just talking to the camera and you're cutting in clips of whatever it is you're talking about. But then I'd also cut in just the random stuff, and I think I was enjoying like how the nonsense was turning out as opposed to the genuine stuff. And so because I think I was doing it pretty regularly, it was during the summer of 2011, and I think I had done four of them. And yeah, I did do four of them because it was what was the first one? I think the first one was Anastasia, because I think the whole thing was I was also going to kind of work in the DVD somehow, which I don't know why. I would talk about the DVD too, but for some reason at the time I wanted to do that. And so it was Anastasia, Titan AE, Pocahontas, and I think the first volume of Young Justice. I can't really think why those were the choices, but pretty much kept up with it. I had found a way of doing it pretty quickly where I could do it weekly, and then I think school had started back up and I couldn't keep up with it. And then that fall semester, I was doing a Spanish class, and at the end of the semester, the project the final project, like you had to do something kind of creative, but you had to fully write out something in Spanish, and so I decided to do I think one of the options was commercial. That might have actually been something like listed. And so I decided to do that, and that's the Spanish commercial video, if you've ever seen that one. Even though, like, the video itself actually translates back to English, I have the script somewhere. I need to, like, subtitle it, but as far as I can tell, like, actual Spanish and it translates into, like, actual text, but the commercial is selling love as a product. Like the guy at the beginning of the video in the glasses who's listing off stuff, he's just listing off, like, has this ever happened to you? But the stuff they're asking about is just nonsense. And I think I tried one more video after that to kind of weave in my thoughts on something. And it was that Sailor Moon video. What I decided to do in the original version, which is not the version that's on the channel anymore, because it was going to be the first proper video since that previous summer. So it opened with this extended previously on thing, and it just escalates into, like, none of it was anything that had actually happened, because kept escalating into clips of completely unrelated things, and like the background music just got more and more obnoxious. And I think I had that clip that went viral of a woman in Asia. She's in like a hotel or something. There's a secret door that opens, and there's a slide, and I guess she was unprepared for how steep and fast the slide was, so she's just like screaming, like, like she's going really, like, it went viral just because of how calm her demeanor is, and then suddenly she's screaming. I liked how that one turned out, but then when I decided that I'm just going to take all the old stuff off of there, I recut that video, cut the actual part where I'm talking about it out of there, and so it's just, yeah. And there was something like, I think the video after that where me and some friends went to a screening of The Room, and we just recorded some crap at that. So there was actually kind of to a degree, a reason behind that, but we were still just doing random stuff. And so I think after that, that was kind of where it was like, okay. Because I also think over that summer when I was actually trying to say something with the videos, I was like less interested in the kind of the Doug Walker, what was the whole Channel Awesome thing, and more into the red letter media style of like really like working in the non sequiturs and doing more research, which also like the people I know, like Tony and Dave and Charlie and Haley have done, are much more researched and well articulated, and they weave in comedy a little bit better. And so seeing like that kind of style become more prevalent, I was kind of like, okay, this kind of just sitting in your room talking to a camera sort of thing, I'm kind of over that. And then I guess my idea is to kind of differentiate myself, is to kind of, to a degree with some of the videos, kind of poke fun at that style. Because there are some videos where I kind of am mocking that, where I'm still in front of a wall talking, but I deliberately get information wrong. And I can't think of which one of the videos that is. I know to some degree. No, the Oogie Loves video. The Oogie Loves video. That's one of them where I'm in a room talking, and I'm just getting every single fact wrong, because that was a thing that a lot of those types of videos, if you remember, were doing. People were, I guess, in a hurry to get content out.
Well, I mean, it's funny you bring that up, because that's kind of the style that I do for my MC Swigga game reviews, because it's basically like they're usually like 3 minutes long, and that whole style of like intentionally getting facts wrong, that seems to be like a whole genre of reviewing in itself now on YouTube. Like, I think one of the biggest examples of it, and I don't know if you watch his stuff, but he's very similar to Red Letter Media, Video Game Donkey.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I love his shit too.
This era in gaming is referred to by historians as the Golden Age. We saw the release of many classics like Tarzan for PS1. That's it.
Yeah, he's great. I love like his delivery and those types of things. And someone I discovered recently is, his channel is called Magic Mike, and magic is with a K instead of a C.
Yeah, he does like those music shitpost videos. Those are great.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love his like countdown videos where it's like,
there are 6 serious reasons why this band sucks. Reason number 1, their awful name. Green Day More like Teen Day, because all their fans are a bunch of infant teens. More like Worst Band I've Ever Seen Day, because, I mean, that one kind of explained itself. Reason number 2.
And it feels like, just like you said, like you're making videos making fun of like that old school 2006 Caustic Critic style videos like that, and I think Donkey's done one too. Those are taking the piss out of those shitty countdown channels on YouTube like Watch Mojo. Like, I love when they do shit like that.
Like how people would try and imitate or emulate like James Earl for Doug Walker or whoever else. Like Mike Stoklasa has definitely been that sometimes for me. So
Everyone's favorite alcoholic. What would you say were some of your favorite cameos to do in other people's videos? Because you cameo in a lot of work from some of the people you mentioned, like Tony, Charlie, Dave, and a lot of those others. What would you say are some of your favorite videos you've done with them?
I enjoyed doing the fake out entry in Charlie's countdown because he was just I think he basically wanted me to do what I had done with my 2 parody theme park countdowns where I just turn on a microphone and just listing this nonsense and then I just cut it like I just find a way to work around it. So that was literally just me just turning on a microphone and just spouting nonsense and he made the finished product out of that and basically he kind of did his version of like my Disneyland or my Carowinds video. There were a couple of things, I think a vlog and then like his own April Fool's Day video that I did with Dave because he was moving to California and he would have to pass through North Carolina, the Kmart I would go to at the time because I was while there were still enough around to get to, I was all about the Kmart for a little while there. And so we hung out and we made that Kmart video if you've seen where it's me and him. And then I think he did a fake update video, like as an April Fool's Day thing. And he's starting off and he's just talking, and then I walk up in the background, and then I walk up to the camera and like I'm giving him shit. And then I think at the very end, he like signs off, and then I'm just awkwardly walking up like a hill of snow in the background. I don't know if he like snickered at that or not, or if he like cuts right when he starts to or something, but yeah, I really like those. And then because we did it a few different ways, and getting the reactions out of the people working the camera for me, I did like doing the all being for the Star Tours video. Because I don't know if you've seen Tony's outtake videos, but I think I had 3 friends of mine in high school helping me with that. And one of them, I think they realized after doing a few takes that my outfit like involved me wearing blankets. And so he was like grilling me over that. And so just getting the reactions out of what I was having to say and what I was wearing and the fact that we were on school property and I'm just yelling this nonsense in this stupid costume. That was fun. So
Similar vein, in terms of videos that you've made yourself, what would you say are the videos that you're most proud of and ones that you look back on and go, I probably could have done those better?
like I said, I'm not too fond of the videos that are no longer available for I think most people at this point who are watching me have not seen those. And then there are a couple, and I'll be talking about this in the next video I've got dropping, but some of my videos were mocking like bigoted people like the fake feud with Tony. And I still think that those videos are funny, but the fact that major events have happened and certain types of people have come out of the woodwork, I feel like it's easy to lose the irony because there are actually people out there who will say those types of things. And so that's less of a not being pleased with the video and being more of like, think that I'm one of those people and I'm not one of those people, if that makes sense. I think the ones I like the most, I like those 2 theme park videos, the Disneyland countdown and the Carowinds countdown. And I still like that Oogie Loves video. And then the Spanish commercial, I still think those some of those earlier ones, yeah, I really dig those. And then the last set of videos I did, like summer of 2016, there are a few of those that I still really like. And like because I'm actually, and this is something I'll be talking about in that video, there'll be some videos that I'll be unlisting because I'm kind of, I guess I'm forward thinking, like if anything becomes of the channel, I don't want that type of humor to bite me in the ass. They won't be easily available. They'll still be on the Mr. Code website, and they'll still be like the playlists on the videos, but
Well, that's totally fine, understandable. Last point, this is basically the wrap up. Videos you have in the works, I think you kind of mentioned that already, but you can mention some other videos you have planned coming up, and also social media shout outs if you want to plug some of that.
Yeah, well, there's that one I mentioned about kind of talking about some of the earlier stuff, and then other things I'm kind of playing close to the chest on those. I don't know if you've watched the last video, but people who did, it's kind of a blink and you'll miss it sort of thing. But I do kind of hint at something.
The video in question is the Catch Up 2020 review on that show.
That show, Catch Up 2020, with the ketchup representing ketchup because they sound similar.
That there is, I will say, an anniversary in the coming months that is relevant to my interests, and I think you can kind of piece together my interests from watching some of the videos, and so you might be able to figure out what that is. I won't say what exactly the type of video it will be, but that's all I'm going to say right now. Well, the channel is Internet Video Party, youtube.com/Internet Video Party. Twitter is Ryan Hipp, HIPPFTW, and then that's the same for my Instagram. I have a letterboxed account. It's Party Times, but it's spelled PARTEETYMZ. I'm hoping I wasn't planning on really doing much with it, but I've started like ranking stuff and rating stuff and writing a couple of reviews and comments, and so I might want to see if I can get that changed because that's kind of difficult to remember. But there's that one, and then I have a Vero. I don't really do much with it, but I kind of cross post like the Instagram stuff there. If anyone wants to follow that, it's just Ryan Hipp. Miraculously, wasn't taken. I was kind of surprised to find this out, like that it's difficult to get just Ryan Hipp because apparently there is a somewhat prolific children's author with that name, which was kind of a surprise. But I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's really it.
All right. Well, there you go, everybody. That's Ryan Hipp of that show. As for MC Swigga stuff I have coming up, I have a new parody song coming out soon for next month. It's ironic that we talked about Donkey because it actually is about Donkey. It's going to be a tribute song set to Sia's The Greatest featuring Kendrick Lamar. Last week a game review coming up, so look forward to that. And as for SwigTalk podcast next month, we're hopefully gonna get South Jersey Sam because he showed some interest when I asked him if he wanted to do it. So hopefully that's gonna happen next month. We're gonna get at least somebody, but Sam seems to be the one that's open to it. So look forward to that next month. That concludes this episode of the SwigTalk podcast, and thank you, Ryan, for being on the episode, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Gingers!